Yo people, what's good? I'm gonna break down how I just made this dark melodic loop for Lil Durk, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so we started first with this bell sound, sounds like this. And with that sound we made this melody. We started in E minor, 80 BPM, but instead of starting on the root note, which is the E, we started on the C. So we put down the C as the bass note, and then we've used the third, which is the E, and we've pasted it up to give us that first chord here. Then we've copied it over, so it's playing twice over here. And then the second chord we've gone up 2 in the scale, and we've gone to E, and again we've used the third, which is a G, pasted it up. Again, that chord copies here, and then to finish it off, we've gone down 1 in the scale and we've gone to D, and again we're using the third, which is the F sharp. Now the chords have been laid down, I'm going through the scale and I'm adding passing notes to fill up the melody, but the main source is the glide notes I've added. So on this G you can see I've added a glide. I'll show you how it sounds. So this G is gliding up to the B. Without it, it sounds completely different. It just adds some real nice texture to your melody that you can only get with one shots. If you're using a VST, some of them do it, but a lot of them don't. So to get this glide note, what you do is come up here on the top left, press that, and you click it in. So with the glide note, the longer it is on the piano roll, the more time it's going to take to glide to the next note. So the shorter it is, the quicker it's going to do it. So with these melodies, making them short, because it's a fast up-tempo melody, so I want that glide to happen quickly. And I've done the same here, and then at the end, I've switched it up a little bit to add a variation to the end of the melody. I'll show you that. So by adding these two at the end, it creates a nice loop so that when it comes back to the beginning, the melody, it sounds completed. Because this bell already has a lot of texture built into it, I haven't had to go crazy on the mixing. So I'll play it for you now. You can hear I've layered a few bells into this one shot, so that you don't have to add portal and stuff to it. It's already built into the sound. For the processing on the bell, I've added a pancake, a Valhalla delay on a 1/4 preset, a vintage verb, stereo imager just to widen the sound, and then an EQ cutting out harsh frequencies and the low end. For the second sound, I've used another bell one shot because I want that same glide effect. That sound sounds like this, and the melody sounds like this. So all I've done is I've copied that first melody and I've pasted it into this second bell. The only difference is I've gotten rid of the low notes. The next sound I've added is a piano from Contact. It is the Hammers and Waves Prepared Piano, and it is this preset here. This is the melody I played with it. With this piano, my aim is to really fill out the melody. Because I've got two bell sounds at the moment, they're both in the higher octaves, so I need something to fill out the lows. So what I've done is I've copied the same chords from the bells, however I've pasted the bass notes down 2 octaves. So now I've got 3 bass notes And then I've got the E, which is the 5th, and the B, which is the 7th, which I added, that's not in the bell melody. And then I've added another B on top, and I've just strummed it slightly to give it a natural feeling. The next chord I added is this D chord, which is a passing chord. So if I play it together with the bells, you can see what it's doing is it's building up tension. So I'll play that. So by adding this extra chord here, you can feel the tension build up a lot more. The next chord is the E chord, again copying and pasting the bass notes down by 2 octaves to fill out the sound. And then lastly the D, same again, copying down the bass notes. For the processing on the piano, we've got a reverb, effect rack on a dark reflections preset, a delay, and an EQ. I've kept in a lot of the lows because the whole point of this sound is to fill out the space and give the melody some lows, but you still want to cut some of like the bass frequencies out so it's not going to clash when the bass comes in. The next sound we've got is this acoustic guitar from Ample Guitar, and that melody sounds like this. For this melody, I didn't really have a process. My idea was I just wanted to create a melody that's bouncing off of the bells. So to do that, I've used, instead of up here being in quarter beat, I've switched it to a third. And then you can see these passing notes here, I've used thirds just to create a different bounce within the melodies. For the processing on the guitar, I've added an EQ, reverb, Valhalla shimmer, which is like another reverb that I really like to use, adds a nice texture, pancake, a compressor, and then an EQ boosting the highs just to give it a bit more clarity with the high end. Okay, next up I've added these 2 accents. I add these in all of my loops, as I said in my last video, just to give a bit of ear candy, gives the listener something that you don't normally hear in a loop, so I like to add them together. They both sound like this. And then for the processing on that, just a reverb, Magic Dice, which is free, it's another reverb, S1 imager to widen out the sound, and then I've got EQ just cutting out the low end. Okay, let's break down the main melody. I'm gonna play that for you now. Okay, so as you can see, what I've done is I've just copied the intro, copied it over to the main melody. So this all stays the same, apart from with the piano, I've just added a couple of top lines just for a variation, so I'll play that now. So why I've done that is it just creates a bit more tension, so there's more of a build up within the loop, so it's not just staying the same. I don't want it to be too repetitive, but again, I want to keep it nice and simple. Next up, I've added these strings. I've just copied the chords, so you can see it's very simple. Just copied the chords, and I've, instead of extending it out here, I've cut it off just to create a bit of variation. They sound like this. Preset I used is in Opus, and it's the 11V, however the hell you say that. And then for the processing on that, S1 imager, Pancake, Valhalla reverb, and the EQ. Next, I've just added this bell, which is acting more as a texture more than anything. Sounds like this. This sound is coming from my one-shot kit, soon come. For the processing, Pancake, pretty wide. I want this to be really wide in the mix. Valhalla delay, Valhalla reverb, S1 imager, and EQ. Okay, so the next sound we've added is what really gives the melody a lot of depth now. So I've added another bell, which sounds like this. Super vibey. That preset is from Falcon and it's the synthetic bells. To get this melody, all I've done is I've literally just copied the chords that we laid down earlier for the bells 1 and 2, and I've just layered it. And then for the effects on that, we've got an EQ, another EQ, a reverb, a kickstart. This is what's making it seem like it's bouncing, so that's a really good plugin I'd recommend. It gives it like a bouncing effect. And then I've got the S1 imager. Next we have this vocal from Splice, and it sounds like this. Again, not doing too much, it's kind of tucked away in the background, more as an accent, more than like a main vocal. With the processing, we've got a reverb, LFO tool, which is kind of like a kickstart, just on a less aggressive level. Magic switch, which adds like a chorus. Pancake, delay, and then an EQ. So we've got 2 more sounds, one of them being the bass. Sounds like this, just copying the root notes from the chords. The preset we've got for this is in Anna 2, and it is the Reese main preset. For the processing, EQ, and a decapitator, just to give it a bit more punch, a bit more grit. So the last sound we've added is this electric guitar. It comes in after the hook for the first verse. Sounds like this. Okay, here's the MIDI we played for the guitar. I played this on the MIDI keyboard. The preset we used is the Evolution Infinity tap faster lead. And to get the cool slides and what makes these guitars sound really good, you come up here to the top right where it says range, and you set this from 1, you put it to 20, and then when you use your MIDI keyboard and you use the pitch wheel, you can then do the slides. Okay, I nearly forgot to mention a really important part that I do with my loops when I finish them. Okay, so once I finish the loop, I export the loop out without the bass and the effects in it, so the sound doesn't get messed up. But what you want to do is come in, make sure everything's on stretch here, and then what I like to do is go up to the BPM, and I like to play around with the BPM, and then also with this one I pitched it up 200 cents, and then now the loop sounds like this, so it gives it a whole nother feel. And that's the full loop finished. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you want to see next, because yeah, I don't know what you guys want to see. I want to make these videos for you, so just let me know. I'm gonna play the beat on the outro. My boys Luke and Danny made a beat to it, so I'm gonna play that now. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you soon.
What you got going on?
Kai, what you cooking?
Hey Danny, you going dummy?